What's happening, people?
Hello, everyone.
What's up, Flow Riders? Welcome to the Shizzo. It is time today to do things. We got a decent conversation today, sparked by Katie and the many questions that she gets in emails from people about us. And yeah, man, Kate, I am still buzzing. Yesterday, Karen and I were talking about this for a minute. I had showed her when I made the graphic like last Wednesday or whatever that we popped 1,000, and
Mhm.
then yesterday I looked at it and it was like close to 1,300, and of course new episode dropped yesterday, so it's probably even more than that today. We're starting to hit momentum stride.
Yeah, it's really exciting. It's just super fun to be able to look at those numbers and know that that's 1,300 people who hopefully got some value and learned some stuff and was spending time with us. Thank you to all of you. It's so
Right.
incredibly rewarding. Yeah.
The repurposing episode did really well. And what's funny is, they in Captivate, they do really good with the analytics. Now, you should not, when you do your podcast, listen to this very closely. You should not get super freaked out over the analytics, but just
But
knowing that it's there is there because you're going to need it. Well, just because it can give you false senses of security and or insecurity, right? So
yep.
you don't want to freak out. It does take time for the momentum to build. Here we are recording episode 13, and we just hit our stride of 1,000. It's not uncommon. So those are probably normalish numbers, but it still feels good. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
no, it
saying?
should celebrate. We should celebrate all those wins, and
Exactly.
you watching and listening should as well. I think that's good to call out because I do think that there's a lot of a lot of fog, I guess, for lack of a better word, around like what are good numbers for podcasting, like what are good download numbers, what are good listener numbers, and all of those different metrics. I think tools like Captivate make it so visible and so easy to see, but it is a different content medium than others out there. So yeah, I think it's good that we're shouting it out and talking it through, because I think sometimes we all feel like, oh well, if we're not at 1 million, we're not winning or we're not succeeding. And podcast numbers are very different than YouTube stats or than other stats out there. So
That's funny if we're not at 1 million. Oh my goodness. When we get
right.
to that million level, hey, it'll be a different story. I'll be walking around as I'll be acting a fool. Ken's gonna be like, "What's wrong with Doc?"
I always
So
used to joke. I always used to joke that if I won the lottery, that I wouldn't tell anyone, but I would just make like one crazy change every day, like until I'd like come in with like a gold mug, and then like the next day, like just get a little bit more crazy every day until I'm just like landing my helicopter in the parking lot, like throwing the keys behind me. Like just don't tell. You just continue to live life as is, but just get a little crazier every single day. See what
and that
happens.
would be the way to do it because that way people don't start asking you questions. I'm just gonna be like, I can't wait for the day to see Katie roll up at Amesbury Bake Shop with full set of grills. Be like, yo, man, can I
Exactly.
get a ham and manchego sandwich? When you gonna eat
Exactly.
that, Katie? No, I'm gonna fly this to Luis in my
Yeah.
helicopter. Because
Exactly.
Luis will eat a ham and manchego sandwich every day if you let him.
Oh, so good. Now I'm hungry. Sorry to everyone in advance for my stomach grumbling sounds.
Luis is probably laughing in the background over here. Okay, so we're gonna get started. Actually, I'm hungry too. We're gonna get started on the podcast today. I do have a couple quick housekeeping things to remind you. You
Mhm.
can jump into the volley and leave questions. We have been starting to gain some momentum there. It is a fantastic resource that I think a lot of people might be having hesitations because, it's one more thing to learn. No, it's not. It's just the
You know how
thing,
to
right?
do
You don't
it. It's
you
not
don't have to
hard.
learn it. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna show you this on my phone really, really quickly because I'm not even gonna plug my phone in. I'm just gonna point it at the camera. All right, this is Volley. The app opens. You press on the flow. It goes just like this. In the third section down, it says QA. You press it, and you present it with a screen like such. There's a red button right here on the bottom, and you press it, and you go like this. Hey, Volley people, we do take questions right here in the Ecamm Volley app. So all you have to do is press the red button down there, drop your question, and Katie and I will answer it live on an episode of The Flow, which is recorded every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, I think that's correct. I was going to say noon, but 12 p.m.
You
is
got it.
noon.
You got it. You got it.
This is what happens when you lose your thought train, whatever that thing is called. Anyway, that's it, Volley. Peace out. And you press stop. That's the end of it. You hear it, and then you press the little mail icon. That's it. All right, you have just added your question to Volley. You don't need to learn how to do anything, but press a button, talk some smack, press a button, done. That's it.
Yeah.
So that's how
Yep.
simple it is. And you can use that to leave us questions for the flow. We even have an Ecamm room, so you can leave us questions for Ecamm. If you want us to leave questions for Ken and Glenn for the monthly Q&A, that is how it is done. That is Volley. So make sure you get over and grab yourself the Volley app, get into the community, and have fun, because a question not asked is a question definitely not answered. I don't even know if that's a thing. I just made that up.
I like it. I like it. I'm gonna clip that out and repurpose that across all the different places. Just so everyone knows it, we do have different short links for each of our different kind of Volley spaces. So the one for Flow is ecamm.tv/flow volley. I think it's flow volley. Someone test that. Someone test that and let me know if that's correct, but I think it's that one.
Hold on, I can see right here in the Slack. It's super funny because I keep telling myself to pull this down from the top of Slack way back up here when we first set it up and put it somewhere where I can grab it faster. Ecamm.tv/flow volley is correct.
Flow volley. Okay, so Paul had regular volley, but I confused him. This one is flow volley, and so we have two right now that, as Doc said, we have one for the Q&A, which is tomorrow, which I'm really excited about. And then we have one for the flow, which we are taking. So we're not doing any others right now, just to keep it as kind of simple as possible. But the goal is just to collect your questions in video format, really, so we are able to play them here.
Well, because it's
fun.
easier to
Yeah.
it's easier to get a question out sometimes than to try to sit down and think how to type
Yeah.
it. And once you start typing, a train of thought, my train leaves the station on a regular basis. So you don't want to miss the train. It's so much easier to get it out. Also, you might need to show something, so you can flip the camera around, show the screen, or screen capture something. You can actually upload it, so you can make a video screen capture on your computer and then upload that through Volley. There's also Volley, the desktop app, which I just downloaded but haven't set up yet. So
yeah,
I just want to get that out there.
You can use Ecamm as a virtual camera and microphone into Volley on desktop and send it that way. You can do all the things.
You see how cool that is? Okay, next piece of housekeeping. We will do question and answer at the end. And if you're here live, hey, be ready. Question and answer game. Oh my goodness. That is part of that. To me, that's the best part of the flow, because if you come here for the live taping, you get all the information that we're putting out for the people who are on the audio only section. But because you are straight gangster, Robin Foster just joined the Volley. Thanks, Robin. Somebody's listening. Somebody's listening to Doc, and this is Doc turning off said notifications because Luis is going to kill me. Thank you, Robin. Sorry, Luis. Anyway, so one of the other things that just happened recently, which I think might work in your favor, is Discord just invented something called Watch Along. So you could go into the Ecamm Discord and go into the rec room, and where your icon is, your little head, your picture of you looking like this, right next to it, there's a rocket or an airplane. I think it's a rocket. You click on the rocket, and one of the activities in there is watch along the YouTube video. Somebody can click the YouTube video, put in a link to this video right here, and a bunch of other people can join you, and you guys can watch along, but you can also talk to each other. So you guys can, team up on a question, because sometimes several people have the same question. I have been finding great experience in my show that people hang out in the Discord and they watch together, because questions just sometimes come together better in a situation like that. This is called a conference. So we can have a mini conference every Tuesday in the Discord. And tomorrow I will be doing a watch along with Ken and Glenn as they do their Q&A. The moderators and I will be kicking it inside the Discord, and that will be cool. And one last announcement on the Discord tip. I haven't picked the date yet. We're going to figure this out. But Luis, full screen me, please. Dun, 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 dun. There he is. He was talking to Aiden. I'm going to be doing this gear talk situation. It's going to be at office hours every week in the Discord. I'm still trying to figure out which day works best with the schedule of things we have coming up. But you're just going to come and hang out. You can bring your questions. I got a piece of gear I just bought. I got a piece of gear I'm thinking about buying. I want something to share about. It's going to be super loose, super conversational. Just a bunch of people hanging around the water cooler doing that thing. So that would be really cool. So come and check us out. I will get the information to you as soon as I pick a date. But hey, we're always in a Discord anyway. So just come. There you go. Yes. All right. Are you ready, Kate?
I'm ready. I am excited.
Do you have anything you need to share with the Ken folks before we start?
I don't think so. Actually, I will say, so Caleb and I are heading off to Courageous Content Live. We leave on Friday. So I know. So Doc, guest co-host replacing Katie next week. Tune in to find out
Yeah.
who.
He already snitched the other day, so I don't know. He snitched in the demo the other day, so I don't know if anybody saw it or not. But yeah, if you didn't see the demo last Friday, then you missed out on the opportunity to know who it is because the person straight snitched already. But
Yeah, it's going to be
all good.
fun, and I'm grateful for that. And I am speaking at this event talking all about our flow content workflow and how to get up to, if not more than 10 pieces of content from one live video and one live video recording of a podcast. So yeah, so I'm feeling like really good about that topic. I'm glad that you guys are all liking it too. I'm gonna know it inside and out by the time that this month is through.
Nice. All right, I think we are ready to go. All right, let me do my little right before the stream calisthenics. All right. All right, so here we go. Everybody mark your stuff. Let's mark for Luis on my recording here. This is going to be Flow, episode 13. Ooh, right around Halloween season, we get lucky episode 13. Do I need these? Okay, I will leave them on today. We get ready to start this recording in 5, 4, aloha, and welcome to the Flow Riders. I am your community manager here at Ecamm, Doc Rock, along with my awesome co-host,
Katie Fawkes.
What's happening, Katie Fawkes?
I'm having a great day. It's very spooky weather here in New England. It's like foggy and like a little bit creepy looking out, which is kind of I'm digging it.
I was gonna say you guys have probably some of the most awesome decorations in that space.
Oh yeah.
So it lends really well to things like, cold, spooky weather right before the thing starts.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, it's not cold out yet, which is kind of fantastic. It's like warm, but dark and creepy. if that makes any sense to anyone.
Yeah. That's what they used to call me. Anyway, let's get this show started. Katie, what are we talking about today?
We're about YouTube podcasts and talking through what it is and why you need to care and why YouTube is doing podcasts and everything in between. So hopefully this will help kind of enlighten folks and answer some of the questions that people have been having as they see this start to hit the internet a little bit more here.
That's cool. And so, yeah, it's funny. There's a lot of, let's say, things moving around in the air talking about YouTube and YouTube podcasts, and it has definitely thrown some people off their game. But I'm here to tell you, it's not as bad as you think, and we're going to talk about that today. We're going to get dove all the way in. So first of all, I wanted to give a couple of quick announcements. Gang, we just hit that episode 12, just got released earlier today, and we're gaining some great momentum. As you know, we passed 1,000 episodes in the very beginning of last week. I'm not 1,000 episodes, 1,000 listeners,
downloads.
and then now we are up into close to 1,300, and a lot of that comes from you guys. So first of all, thank you, Flow Riders, for being part of the show. You guys are in the building. I'm sorry, Michelle's comment just popped right up in my face. Right when said to talk about what's up to the Flow Riders. So I love seeing that you guys are here. We appreciate you. Also want to remind that folks listening on the audio version, you can send in your questions for the Flow either
Mhm.
through our volley, right? Or you can send us an email at flow@ecamm.com. The
Yep.
volley situation is ecamm.tv/flow volley. That's ecamm with two M's .tv slash, that's pause, FLOWVOLLEY. And volley is very, very simple. All you do is there's a button to press record, you say your question, and then you press it again to send it. It's super simple. It won't take you long to learn it. Actually, I think you learn it in about 2 minutes because it's
It's
that.
literally the same functionality as on your phone recording a video. So if you can push a button, you can do it.
Yeah, it's a button. Some people say
Button,
button. I love when people say
button,
button
button.
because the button one cracks me up. I'm like, okay, it's a O at the
Uh-oh.
end.
This is one of those triggering moments where I'm like, "Oh no, how do I say this?" I always feel like I say the things wrong compared to everyone else.
Well, I mean, you have an excuse because you have a northern United States accent, just like we're
Fair.
Southern Canada. But it's going away. So over the last two
Yeah.
and a half years of listening to you almost every day, it's slowly becoming more and more angry. So that means you're becoming American.
Woohoo!
Enough about Katie's naturalization. Well, I can't speak English at all
Oh my
today, so
god. That's
I
a
should
hard
not
word.
be one to talk. All right, gang, let's dive into this episode. What are we talking about today, Kate?
We're talking about YouTube podcasts. We're talking about what it is and why people should care and all of the other questions that fall underneath that topic. All things
All right,
YouTube podcasts.
let's dive into the first question. What you got?
All right, our first question is what is it? What are YouTube podcasts?
Wow. All right,
We're
so
keeping it
let's
really high level with these questions, guys. So.
no. It is actually a good question, and I'll cover this answer in two spots, right? I'll cover it in what is a podcast first, and then I'll
Mhm.
cover it in what is a YouTube podcast.
I
Um,
think that's
they're
good.
the same. They're the same. Let's get this twisted, right? They're exactly the same.
Yep.
Um, what causes people to say one is one and one is not the other is the difference between a regular podcast and a YouTube podcast is just where you're going to download it from, right? If you're downloading it from, say, or sorry, interact with it, watch it or listening to it. Let's put it that
Mhm.
way.
Yeah.
Instead of, if you're going to listen or watch on Apple TV, Apple Podcasts, that's one thing. Apple Podcasts has actually recently got rid of their video side, so you're
Mhm.
really not you can still get it there, but you're not going to necessarily watch it directly through Apple Podcasts. It will pull to your phone, and when you go to play it, it has like a little never mind, let me not complicate it. It still works. Okay. So you can do video, you can watch video podcasts on Spotify, you can watch video podcasts in Google Play. You know where people watch videos, Katie? YouTube.
YouTube.
Right. Even Facebook has tried really, really hard to get Facebook Watch popping. I still say most people watch their videos on YouTube. It's a thing, is what we've always known.
Yep.
It's like you go to Goodyear to buy tires. You do not go to Goodyear to buy hot dogs. It's just not a thing. Nobody does it. So YouTube is already in the mindset of seeing video. Okay. And
Yep.
that's a key factor in this. So us old school OG curmudgeon type folks, to us, a podcast requires an RSS feed. An RSS feed is real simple syndication, and that just states that when I press a button on Captivate to upload that video, I'm sorry, that audio file
Mhm.
to Captivate. Captivate will distribute it through real simple syndication, aka RSS, to Apple, Spotify, Google, Amplify,
Mhm.
TuneIn, Tune Out, Stitcher, Snitcher, Twister, whatever. It sends it everywhere, right? That is what an RSS feed does. It basically takes the content that I send to Captivate or Buzzsprout or wherever you're at and sends it to all the places at one time. The more new conversation is if people are showing up every week to watch a content, say somewhere between 10 minutes to like an hour and a half, That's what we consider long form.
Mhm.
And they grab it every week. That's a podcast. So YouTube is like, let me amplify that. Let
Yep.
me allow the people who are doing weekly shows on our platform to start to use the same verbiage as everyone else. And so
Mhm.
that's where we get YouTube podcasts from.
Yeah. And I was thinking while you were saying this, that is an important point for everyone to keep in mind, is that one thing that has made YouTube different from Facebook, for example, or from I think, maybe you can correct me, any of the other social platforms that allow live video or video playing, is that on YouTube you can be watching a video on your phone. Okay, so I'm watching it on my phone, and then I get into my car, for example. I can minimize that video on my phone. It's now plugged into my car, and the audio from that is just going to come through my car or through my phone, even if the video is minimized. So it does not stop playing my video just because I have minimized or closed, quote unquote, YouTube. Whereas if I was to do the same thing, whether it's on a desktop or phone or whatever, on any of those other platforms, they're like, oh, you're not watching anymore. And so they stop the video, right? So
Right.
YouTube has always kind of had this thought in their ecosystem of, you might be on the move. Doc watches YouTube on his TV while he's cooking or doing other things, and he's walking in and out of the room, it's still playing. I might have it on my phone while I'm out for a walk and it's in my pocket and I'm listening to it through my headphones, and then I get into my house and I cast it from my phone onto my TV. That experience is going to go all the way through. It might go audio, video, video, audio. Like, I might change back and forth, but YouTube does not stop that experience just because I've changed the format. So it's always kind of been primed to be in that podcasting space, which is morphing from just audio to audio and video. I think YouTube is actually a key player in allowing people to consume it both ways in the same episode if it's created that
Correct.
way, right? So it's a lot of
Yeah, the
potential there.
hybrid cast. Ooh, that's even better because
Yeah,
you're right.
right?
You can
Yeah.
start it. I do it all the time. I will have, somebody that I'm listening to in their podcast, and I normally listen to the video sods, and I'll pick, Twit because I'm always there, right?
Mhm.
I'll have Mac Break Weekly on, and I'm not sitting at the TV watching Leo and Andy, you know,
Yeah.
and Jason go on. First of all, I've known those guys for all 20 plus years. I know exactly what they look like. Number two, none of them are handsome as me.
Mhm.
So I can still get the information, but I don't need to watch them. But I have them on because, as weird as this sound, and I'm a big dude, but still they're at home with me. I'm not home by myself. I'm chilling with my homies who I have shared many a beverage and song and karaoke and all of the above with.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm still cruising with my friends,
Yeah.
right? And I think a lot of people do that. That is the vacuuming entertainment or the mopping entertainment,
Yeah.
right? So I would have Tom and Heather on. I'll put Rich Guys on or something, and they're just in the background. They're talking to me while I'm doing whatever the heck I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know,
And I think
so
and I think that really is where YouTube is positioning itself to be with this move. So, make no mistake, YouTube is in it to completely own this space. They are a huge player. They are owned by Google, which is, if not the biggest player, certainly within the top 3 out there of just companies. And they see the potential. We've been saying from the start of this podcast that, there's a huge market. Podcasting is a huge, huge, huge market. So they are certainly aware that people are consuming content in different ways, are going to YouTube to search for their favorite podcast. Discoverability of podcasts has been a big deal on YouTube. So even if people weren't listening to podcasts there, that was where they were finding podcasts, or that was where they were, spending time discovering them. So, I think it's a space where it was a natural next step for them, and they are going to do what they do best, which is defining and redefining the space. They are an innovator. So they are going to take podcasts into the YouTube space, and then they're going to redefine what that means for people within the YouTube ecosystem and push it back out so that we all are forced to make those changes. And I do want to say, because I saw the comment come by, so folks listening, I wanted to correct
I was gonna
myself.
say it
I was going to
too.
correct myself that you do currently have to have YouTube Premium in order to have that experience where it goes back and forth between audio and video. But I do really think that is, again, YouTube spending this time to see what the level of interest is and how people are responding to this as a potential overall experience within their ecosystem. I'm willing to bet that, that is going to shift and change as they grow out YouTube podcasts. So this is a brand new thing for them. The concept of there being a YouTube podcast is new. This year, Doc's been talking about it for forever, but it's new for all of us and it's still being defined. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there.
Okay, so I want to give a public service announcement. I don't do, let's see, I don't often say that something is a must, but I will tell you something is a must. If you are in any way, shape, or form a content absorber, even if you're not in the program to say go and make money yet, if
Yeah.
you are a content absorber, you should absolutely, positively, hands down, be on YouTube Premium.
Yeah.
It is a massive game changer. Now, I know some people are gonna have a conniption fit because it just went from $17.99 to $22.99. So it went from $18 to $23 a month, right? Cancel
I think
HBO.
that's the family plan too.
Oh yeah, I'm
We'd
on
have to,
family plan.
yeah.
I'm on
So that's
family
not
plan.
if you're an individual user, that's for that's for your household. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I do the family plan because it allows you to get 6 people.
yeah.
I wouldn't. There's 6 people that are supposed to live in your house.
Yeah, find a family if you don't have 6 people in the
Right,
house.
right. Just saying, 6 people are supposed to live in your house.
Yeah.
So, one thing, the reason why I say this is it's not just about the missing the ads. That's not
Mhm.
exactly the only reason. One thing to know, first of all, if you're a student, you can get a discount. So
Mhm.
do that. There is so much to be learned on YouTube. There's so much comforting information and there's so much study and positive. There's all these audiobooks. There's so much stuff on YouTube that it's kind of a dope play. Like you should
Mhm.
sort of be there. And I know, there's other things. Well, I need to do money on this. I need to spend money on this. I'm sorry. YouTube University is one of the greatest things since sliced bread.
Yep.
So if you have to, steal from Peter and get rid of Paul, not Duncan, but the other Paul, and be on YouTube Premium. That is the
Yeah.
one thing that I would tell everybody you have to. I've told my friends, like, look, man, it's so important. I will buy it for your kid because having
Yeah.
your kid sit through all these advertisements. Here's the funny thing. Now I'm going to say this, and I don't have any, so okay, this is just Uncle speaking. My friend says, "You know what? My kid absorbs so much YouTube, and it's not the YouTube that bothers me. It's all of the ads that come out. The ads are so targeted towards kids and blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, "Man, did you know for $12 you can make that go away?"
I
And
know,
they're like, "What?"
and your kids, like my kids, it is the number one, what thing that they are consuming as far as media goes. So they are spending more time learning and watching and interacting with YouTube content than they are playing video games, than they are watching TV or movies with us as a family. That is where they are. My kids are like spending time researching, XYZ different. My son loves to go on and learn, all of these different things. And they're learning it all through, watching and consuming these tutorials or documentaries or, new TV stations, really. I mean, YouTube has really become a huge player in entertainment and education. So I agree. I think it's well worth it for my family. But I do think as this feature continues to roll out and YouTube continues, to grow and find its way here in the podcasting space, the having access to premium is going to go a long way for you, both as
Now,
creators as well as consumers.
do you use music?
I do. Actually, I am probably one of the weird exceptions here in the Ecamm office because I actually live and breathe in the full YouTube system. So I don't use I use YouTube for like all of the video stuff, everything at home, but I also use it for I use YouTube Music, which I adore. So that's I download and save albums. I make playlists. That's like and I spend a lot of time driving. I love driving and I love road trips. So that's I mean, Apple Podcasts is still, if I'm listening to audio only podcasts, that's my choice for listening to podcasts. But everything else, music and content wise, is all in YouTube. And again, it's worth it for me because I have, Gmail and Google Drive. And like, I am in the kind of Google world as far as that goes. It's like me, it's Apple, and then it's Google. So it's bundled together, and that can save you some money that way.
You see, so just saying, people, like I'm not going to say there's a lot of these you have to, but YouTube Premium is a straight up must. I'm sorry, like it's $12 if you don't have the whole family joint. It's 22 if you have the family joint, but find it. Find it, borrow it, steal it, babysit somebody's kid for a half an hour and send them back. Just cover that. Like that one is a game changer. It really, really is. I can't stress that enough. Okay, so the main thing to get away from the first question is that a podcast is whatever. Like it's still undefined. Don't get caught up in the minutia. As Diana Gladney would say, don't major in a minor on this one. A podcast is whatever you make it. If people are consuming your same content on a regularly scheduled basis, you have a podcast. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a pod that's delivered to multi places at one time. There you go. That's what a cast is. Okay. So what's the second question?
Luis, where's our second question? There we go. What makes YouTube podcasts different from live streaming or posting videos? So you did kind of cover this, but it's worth diving a little deeper. Yeah. So part of it is the RSS, like you said. So part of it is getting out there. And I would say we didn't full circle. We didn't close that loop. So to closing the loop, if podcasts are sent out to multiple places via RSS or it's going out to lots of different places, then YouTube podcasts should be one of the destinations. I would argue the most important destination to make sure that your podcast is going to. And that's okay if it's not going through RSS or one of your podcast hosts to YouTube podcast. You could do like what we're doing and live stream.
There is no way to do. There is no way to send it through an RSS. Now, Podbean and Buzzsprout, Anchor, a couple other places do have an automatic YouTube uploader. Don't do that. But they do have that. So you can send it from your podcast host to YouTube. Don't do that. But here's the thing, people. Oprah was recorded in front of a live studio audience, and then Oprah was distributed to billions of TVs all around the world. Podcast.
Yes.
The Super Bowl is a live stream. We're going to forget computers exist. We're just going back to just a stream. Okay?
Join us in the 1990s.
I don't want you to get stuck, because people get stuck in verbiage they know the answer to, but they're so busy getting twisted in verbiage that the common sense ain't so common. So let me fix that. The Super Bowl is a live stream. Everybody in the world, about 38 billion people and declining, watch it simultaneously. Live stream. When it is over, okay, you can still watch Oprah later, because back then we record them and they would come in, or our TV station would run out of stuff to play after 11 and they'd repeat the Oprah from the day before. The sports companies, so CBS has a alternative sports platform down the pipe a little bit, and let's say USA Network, and they'll replay the Super Bowl on one of the cable stations later. So you can watch the Super Bowl after the Super Bowl at your leisure, or you can watch it on demand now. Podcasts. There's no difference between a live stream and a podcast. Your main job is to create content, not to worry about how you created it. How you created it is technically irrelevant for this point. The main thing is you create a video. That video can be in front of a live studio audience of very handsome people like Andy and Rich and Eden. Eden's not handsome. Eden's just Eden.
He
That
can
was
be
a,
handsome.
okay. I guess girls can be handsome. It's a new world. Hello.
Yeah.
Take it back, Doc. And she likes ice cream. So you can do it in front of a live audience like we do. You can
Mhm.
do it by yourself. I don't suggest that, but you can
Mhm.
do it by yourself. The main thing is you create a video and you put it on YouTube. That is
Yeah.
the only step you need to worry. Well, not the only. That's the first and most important step. I'll cover the rest of the steps in the next question. But yes, your main goal is to record a video and put it and put sorry, I just read he didn't say I can be handsome and record it and report it and put it on YouTube. That's it.
Yeah.
If you're already creating YouTube content, you have already knocked the first base covered.
Yeah, exactly. And I think where we're sitting right now, and I'm being bad and looking at comments, but there's some brilliant feedback coming through, which is part of the joy of being in front of a live studio audience. But I think one of the things that a few people in the chat are saying, which has been on my mind as well, is that because this is a new frontier for YouTube, right, what we need to do right now is to continue doing what we do best, which is we understand YouTube probably better than a lot of people who are in the audio only podcasting space, right? So don't trust right now, at least, those other tools that are just going to auto upload to YouTube in the same way that they send out podcast audio everywhere else, because it is a different medium, right? Video is a different medium. You want to input the information into YouTube with all of your keyword rich description and title and your hashtags and your thumbnail and all of that information correctly, according to YouTube standards. That may change down the road as YouTube continues to evolve. It might be that YouTube becomes, a part of the RS. We can send the RS feed also to YouTube, and they make it so that they can pick up all of the correct information. That may mean that YouTube has a completely separate, website or section of their or app or whatever that is podcast. Like all of that stuff's going to evolve. So right now, and Doc said this brilliantly while we were researching and discussing this topic initially, but this is the new frontier, and what we need to do is build your store, right? Build it now, build it as if it is a podcast, and then you can just make tweaks or edits later, but build it right and build it on YouTube, because they are going to spend the time and the money and all of the investments to own this space. They are YouTube, and that is what they want to do. So don't ignore it, and don't be like, oh, well, it's different, so I'm just gonna phone it in. Start here and then phone in the rest of the stuff if you have to phone something in. But don't phone in this part, right? Don't phone in this part, because this part's the one that matters the most. This is where the money is. This is where the people are.
Yes, I think that is a key element, because it is real easy to want to just do like Andy was
Automate.
saying
Yeah.
in chat, just automate it, press a button, and call it there. So let's get to the last thing so that I can stress some of the key elements.
Feels. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just laughing, right? If you just send your thing, using your podcast hosting, you're going to end up with a static image with a bunch of bump on it, and people learn about that. So yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Luis, you didn't have to pull that back. Sorry. Go ahead, Kate.
How can people make sure that they're included in YouTube podcasts?
Okay, super simple. Do your video. YouTube will handle the rest.
Yep.
But let's cover some key points. A lot of this people know, but I'm going to reiterate it because it's important to reiterate. The number one reason why you should be putting your video on YouTube, even if it's a podcast, and not a vlog or a tutorial video or something like that. It is
Yep.
the second largest search engine in the world. Yes, everybody understand that. Most people know that. If you don't, hey, welcome to 2022.
Second to only itself.
Yeah,
Really.
exactly. Exactly. Here's the key element. There are 2.6 billion monthly active users. Spotify, not even close. Apple Music, Apple, the big daddy, not even
close.
freaking close. 2.6 billion monthly active logged in users. And
I know.
growing.
Why would you not want to be there. Like if you start there, it's easier to check off all the boxes correctly everywhere else. It's just so I just finished up a presentation for an upcoming event that I'm doing, in which I am trying to convince people to start with YouTube Live and then disseminate out from there. But I really do believe it. I cannot tell you how much I do. It's so much easier. The most important, and I guess the hardest, although it's not overly difficult, is YouTube. Once you've mastered that, everything else is super easy. Everything else is like, oh, I don't need a thumbnail. Oh, I don't need to put in as detailed a description. You've done all of the work by doing the live stream and the initial content out on YouTube. Everything else is an echo of that to a much smaller audience. So sorry, I'll get down off my soapbox, but this is a soapbox that I've been on for this year. So
no, and it's cool, right? So like I just put in that according to the statistics, as of Q2, right, which would have ended in June. Wait, January, May, June. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I was like, yes.
I had to double check. Math. Thank you. Business school was a long time ago.
It was,
anyway, as of Q2, Spotify has 433 million active users. Do you know how many 433s you can fit in 2.6 billion? Okay, just understand that you can spit. You can spit. You can fit 4.5 Spotify's in YouTube. All right, so just Spotify is the second biggest. So just get that out of your nugget. Okay, what Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Spotify lack, of course, all the other smaller guys are absolutely smaller. They all lack what is known as a suggested algorithm. You know, Al, that friend of ours, Googleverse, sorry, YouTube will say, you are starting a podcast. You have been using verbiage and words in your thing because we close caption your videos automatically if you don't put your own captions descript, as you should descript. And you said video podcast 15 times. You must need to see the flow. And the next thing you know, in the side of your thing, there's a picture of me and Case like, so hello, the suggested algorithm. Nobody else says if you're listening to this, you should be listening to that. The other guys try, but their algorithms are broken.
Yeah.
YouTube's algorithm is highly fleshed out, regardless of the whiny BA creators who say that they don't get seen. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll let you figure out what the BA is. Now, the only thing you need to do is put your content like you put your content. That is highly important. Just record your video and put it there. Here's where you get seen. Choose your titles wisely.
Yep.
Okay. We kind of do a bad job at this, but we're doing it for style. If it was up to me, YouTube content creation coach, we wouldn't do it that way. But I like the style of it because Caleb needs things to look a certain way. Caleb is fashionable. My title would be why you should be doing video podcasts in 2022. My titles would be want to start a video podcast? Here's 10 easy steps. Our titles are The Flow episode 6, YouTube video podcast, like that. Don't make titles like us. Do not copy us. Our titles suck. And it's because I'm not in charge of it. Okay. So choose your titles in a manner that sparks interest. Basically, study some copywriting and learn how to rank titles. That's important. The other thing, get your nails did. We got dope thumbnails. Okay. Make your thumbnails presentable, right? When you, like Andy said, Andy's here. Andy's been smart today. Hey, Andy. If you said, hey, Buzzsprout, just take my thing and it's just going to take your podcast artwork and it's going to make it a thumbnail. That's not the same. If you see what boxes look like in Costco, they don't look the same as the boxes in the regular stores. They package differently. Why? Because Costco is going to be stuffed in a barrel somewhere. In a regular store, it needs to be presentable. So they package it differently. When you order you buy this hard drive right here from Amazon, it comes in plastic wrap. When you get it in the Apple Store, it comes in a lovely, elegant, always white, always able to stand up by itself box. So, you know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
have to present it for the medium. So get your nails did. If you do not know how, watch some tutorials. I know some people
There's
who make great tutorials on how to do
there's
thumbnails,
thousands of them out there, yeah, and you can
or
find them all
hire
on
somebody.
YouTube. Yeah, or
Yeah,
hire
or hire
somebody, yeah,
somebody.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then use something like vidIQ or TubeBuddy to
Mhm.
help you get seen. Your main thing is to operate back to step number 1, which is the second largest search engine in the planet. So
Yep.
those are the important things. If you do all of those things, YouTube will automatically put it there. Now, it is still of my opinion that there will be a mechanism coming up soon where you're going to tag it a certain way or check a certain box, which will
To get included,
guarantee it
yeah.
goes into the podcast space. Right now, if you behave like a podcast, YouTube knows that. They are smart. They're watching you. Right? If you let Anna tell it, they're watching everything you do.
Yeah.
But they know. They just know, because if you walk like a duck, talk like a duck, it's a duck. So if you act like a podcaster, it's a podcast. That's simple.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I will say there are so many cool features that exist on YouTube that the kind of the more you watch and consume and the more you you educate yourself on what's possible, it's pretty amazing. I mean, at Ecamm, for example, our upcoming live videos, which we have scheduled out, we can link them together. So YouTube has within its presets the idea of customization, where I can go in, I can add a trailer video to the beginning of all of my live streams. While people are waiting, they can watch a trailer, which is free marketing for you. You can throw a trailer in front of it. You can say, the second that this episode of The Flow stops, show them my next live video so that they know exactly what. You can do a lot of those kinds of things, but those all exist within the YouTube settings. So if you're trying to automate and you're not taking the time, you're missing all of those amazing things that make that experience better for people that are in that platform. I want to say it was Pat Flynn, who I shout out all the time, I feel like these days, but I think it was Pat who said, we need to stop sending people off of YouTube. So we have this habit of saying, like, subscribe to my channel and then, like, go back to my website, go back to my, Facebook group, go back to here, whatever. All you want on YouTube is for them to watch the next video. If you keep them watching your next video, YouTube loves you. You rank better, you get more people seeing your stuff. And also, they know you. They're building a relationship with you. They are listening to what you're saying. You're in their mind. They're spending all of that time with you. They'll find your website when they need to buy your service or product. You're talking with them all the time. They're watching your next video. They don't need for you to send them over there with a link. They don't need that. They need for you to spend time in front of them. And to do that, you need to get them to watch your next video. So there is lots of opportunity if you dive deep and spend time understanding how YouTube works as a platform. And then, like Doc said, the podcasting side of it is just gravy on top, because it just gives you one other place where your content gets a chance to surface. So
100%. 100%. I love the fact that, first of all, you remember that, because I think even I forget sometimes. I think we all forget that
I'm constantly
it
updating.
is
I'm like, oh shoot,
really
I gotta do this differently. Yeah.
it is really bad it is really bad to send people off the platform
Yep.
when you're on the platform. So
Yep.
um I kind of want to. Normally, we save our Q&As to the end,
Yep.
and I always tell everybody who's listening to this, if you're listening, you kind of want to be in a live studio audience, because every once in a while, somebody named Julie Gayhart will ask a really dope question that deserves to be in the episode. So I will
Let's do
forget the
it.
fact that we
Let's
do
do
a
it.
Q&A at the end, and I'm going to cover this. Now, for the video people watching, Luis isn't going to have a dope slide that says Julie had this question, but I'm going to say, question from our Flow Rider, Julie Gayhart, says, is there a time for this from YouTube? Julie, please do not get upset. This is a doc answer all day long. Doesn't matter. If they do it tomorrow, dope. If they do it 10 years from now, dope. It really doesn't matter, because the effect will be exactly the same. And I'm going to say this, and I'm not going to mention the person's name because I want to punch him in the face. But there is a very famous podcaster who has done podcasts on YouTube for going on close to 5 years when no one had a mechanism for doing podcasts on YouTube's. And the person saw so many success that another podcasting company bought them for a pornographic amount of money. You don't need to have somebody put a billboard on your video that says this is a podcast in order for it to be effective. There is an old proverb that I will convert. I won't say it in Japanese because you won't understand me. But just because the message may not be received doesn't mean the message is not worth sending. Send your content anyway. YouTube will do with it what they need to, and they're smart enough that if it's powerful enough, they will make sure that all 2.6 billion people today see it.
Yeah. Yeah. Or
If
I mean,
not,
like,
they'll give you 26 people. But hey, that's on you now, right? The ball is in your court. So, not to give a
yeah.
wise ass answer, that is legitimately the answer. It doesn't matter whether YouTube flips it today or tomorrow or the next day. Just be ready. No one knows. They're not going to tell us. We don't tell you when Ecamm 4.0 is coming out. Here's the funny thing. Ken and Glenn know. Katie and I don't. We yell at them every day. Can you please give us a date? We're marketing. We got to make fancy graphics, and Doc has to make tutorials. And Ken go, yeah, and they just
When
keep
it's
doing
ready.
it.
When it's ready is the
Yeah.
answer, right? So I mean, same for YouTube. When it's ready, they'll roll it
Yeah.
out. But yeah, I think I think we're all going to miss it if we're not in the right space. If we're over focused on something else and they roll it out, then we've got to hustle and jump on over and spend way more time and effort versus if you're already there and ready to go, maybe a couple tweaks to some keywords and things, but you'll be off and running. You won't have to worry about having to build something from scratch if you're already there. And worst case, they decide, which they're not going to do, but they could absolutely say, hey, you know what? We're not going to do podcasts. We're closing that entire thing down. Worst case, you still have an amazing YouTube channel with tons of people who are just watching it as YouTube and videos and it's not part of a larger podcasting space. You're not losing for having the content there. There's no downside to it.
I'm laughing at Gabe. Gabe, that person's name should not be mentioned ever because he's such a D-bag. Anyway, it's funny, but yeah, it is one of those things that I think we all want to know because what we'll do is we'll get caught up trying to get ready. Just be ready. Like it's an old thing that I heard long time ago from Zig Ziglar. And I actually, strangely enough, I don't even realize I just did this. I posted a YouTube video, not a YouTube video. I posted a, what do you call those things? An Instagram reel a
Instagram
couple of
reel.
days a
Yeah.
couple of days ago and it was basically, don't let your life pass by, like trying to have a better life. You know what I'm saying? So many people are so busy trying to have a better life and doing all of these things to have a better life, but they're letting the life pass them by. And I know this because of my dad. My dad was so busy trying to get everything ready to have this most dope retirement, and he did all the work and busted his okole and whatever, and worked himself to death and never took that second part because it was so busy getting ready for it. You know what I'm saying? So, like, don't work so hard for everything to be perfect to the point where you're missing the journey.
Yep.
All of the dope stuff is in the journey, right? Like,
Yep.
driving back from Albany wasn't about like how we're going to turn this way or that way. We just said, take us there, map. And then we listened to John Mulaney and laughed our A's off for 3 hours. It was pretty funny. And we had a great
Yep.
conversation. And the drive back from Albany with Katie was dope. It was partially a ride back with my boss. We talked a little bit about work, and a ride back with my friend where we just cracked up and told stories and enjoyed each other's company for that time frame.
Yep.
That was the memorable part. It wasn't the fact that we took highway this and then highway that and then get on the Mass Pike. I think that's what it's called. And I don't even freaking know because I wasn't paying attention. I was talking to Katie. It's called Mass Pike, right?
I think so. I don't even know. I'm
You
like,
live
I don't
there.
know. Google Maps. Google Maps took us there. I was listening to John Mulaney.
Yeah, so like enjoy the journey, fam. Please enjoy the journey because
Yeah.
like this is so dope, and we have the benefit of just doing something amazing right now. So
Yeah.
I just want to leave all of our listeners and our live studio audience with that. Just enjoy
Yeah.
the content creation part.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't say anything different. That's an awesome place to end.
Okay, I did have one last thing to tell people, but it's super small. If you want to get on to Spotify video, you have to upload it through Anchor.
Hmm.
It's okay. You don't have to move your podcast to Anchor. If you're on Anchor, cool, stay there. I personally don't like it. But if you want to put your video there, you can just upload the video section. So you upload it twice, once to YouTube, once to Anchor, and
Yeah.
that's fine. And I don't, Jared or somebody would have to correct me. I don't think you have to pay to upload video there. I think that's still considered part of their free thing. I am not sure. That is a Eileen and a Jared question, but I will find an info and drop it in the show notes somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think we have not yet done that. So we're certainly
We will.
prioritizing YouTube over Spotify video at the moment, but we'll figure it out and we'll try it so that you know how to do it as well. But yeah, that was a good point that came up. I think I was chatting with the Ecamm Live Academy and talking about that, and that came up as a point that someone raised. So yeah, it's a good one.
And the last pro tip I'm going to save for the live studio audience. So Jared says it's free. See, I answered that question
There
in
you
the
go.
show notes. See, this is
There
why
we
you do a
go.
live
Show
audience
notes.
because Jared is here. Jared is here, and he will be
With
here.
our live team of researchers actively researching as we talk.
You know, we're a big old podcast. We got a live team of researchers, and our San Diego office just chimed in. So, yeah, I will save the last point for the live studio audience because this is what's called the tease that make you come to the live studio audience, and this is going to be the one that actually is the home run hitter. So, if you want to be a part of it, why did I snort? If you want to be a part of it, make sure you come every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern time, noon. I don't know why that still doesn't work today, but we are here live on the YouTube channel recording it. So please be here. Now, everyone stick around because Q&A starts right about now. Don't forget, you can find us at flow.ecamm.com. You can also send us questions via flow@ecamm.com. And you can drop those questions in the volley at ecamm.tv/flowvolley. Dang, I did that. Cool.
You
You
did it.
know, a kind of important thing to know is this show and every show is sponsored by Speedify. Now, we've been discovering so many cool things that you can do with Speedify. And we had a question that came up today, and this was from somebody named Mr. Camera Junkie. He had
We don't know him. Never heard of him.
Never heard of the guy. He had a question about how Speedify does bonding. Bonding is this really incredible terminology that means I can take my hardwired connection from my Spectrum, right? And I can take this phone, which is connected to AT&T, and my other phone, which I can't reach right now, which is connected to Mint, and I can merge all of those connections together using Speedify to give me a different connection. So let's just say I look at my phone and my phone says that I'm pulling down 20 megabits per second download, and my other phone says it's pulling down 50. Okay, that's 70 between the two phones. And then my Spectrum is pulling down 500. I can actually, with Speedify, connect all of that together and get close to 570. So now I'm able to enhance. So not only can you use it as a fallover, as an emergency, if something should drop, you can actually use it to stick a bunch of connectors together to make a Voltron or make a Voltron. You can make a Voltron connection. Where this comes in handy is in things like hotel. So when we're all cruising around in San Diego and we're at the convention center, we wanted to do a stream and the stream wasn't working or whatever, we could actually take a bunch of phones and connect them together to make a single dope connection. And that's the kind of stuff that you can do at Speedify. So make sure you go to speedify.com and yeah, check it out. And we have a special perk. If you are an Ecamm fan member, you can ask any of our moderators or Paul Duncan, or you can send us an email and we'll tell you how to get even a discount using the Ecamm fan perk. But you don't need one because it's like super, super cheap. As a matter of fact, it should be 3x more expensive. So thank you, Speedify, for supporting the flow. That's called the live read, people.
These live reads are probably like some of my most favorite. I feel like I learn something new about Speedify every time that you do it.
I'm telling you, it is a wonderful thing. All right, gang. So thank you guys for listening to this episode of The Flow. And now we will dip into Q&A. We'll see you guys next week. Aloha.
See you next week. Bye.
Okay, Q&A people. I have one more for you, and this is important. And I think this is probably more important than everything we talked about this time. Set yourself up to be in a position to squeeze out 5 pieces of vertical content for each podcast, each episode, right? So here we are on podcast 13. We're just now figuring out our flow. We're starting to get there. Caleb. I don't know. You guys know him as Caleb. I say Caleb. Caleb is going to take parts of our show and chop them up and put them on our socials, right? And so all of the vertical video spots are YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. Yeah, I said it. Twitter rolled out vert vids too. So if you set yourself up properly, and in the beginning, okay, maybe just do it comfortably, get it out, right? Don't tweak over it too much. But as you start getting yourself together and starting to gain your flow, you want to be able to snatch out like 5 key points and drop them in, right? So that's it. Now, Sal, you're in the right spot because we had a question that came in from Jeff Ruster. Case, did you clip that?
Who was here earlier? It's in the guest chat. I didn't so that you can.
Let me see.
You can read it.
Jeff said,
or I can read it out loud if you want to. What's helpful?
Okay, good, because it's really far over there and I can't
all right. I got it. I got to look closely here. Okay, so Jeff wrote this into the Q&A, but we figured we could answer it here and then we could just play this video for Jeff during the Q&A. We feel like we're more experts than Ken and Glenn on this one. All right, Jeff asked, I'd like to use Ecamm to add video to our audio podcast to show slides full of charts and data and have my guests in interview mode see the slide being shown on the screen. How do I do that?
Okay, this is so simple. All right, so here we go. I am going to go into live demo mode over here. Let me move this out the way.
All right, Luis, let's make Doc full screen so that he can do this.
All right, I'm going into live demo mode here, which is Command-Shift-D on your old keyboardy board. Hey, there we go. So now I should be in live demo mode. This is Ecamm. So all you're going to need to do to have your guests in the interview mode, there's a couple ways you can do this, right? The first way you can do this is to just put the PDF on screen, your slides or whatever, like this. You just drag it in, drop it in. So this is my mock show. Like this is not a real thing, but you can just click and then here are your slides and things like this, right? Now, when I'm in this position, you'll notice that if I put this here, it's going to cause that infinity effect, but it's basically not showing what the internet shows. I mean, not showing what I'm showing. You click here, you go into preferences, and then when you go to interview mode, you say the guest view the broadcast or the host camera. All you have to do is set it for broadcast. And then in which case, the people on the interview mode are seeing exactly what I'm seeing. So to Katie and Luis, they're seeing the same live demo mode as me. If I switch it to host camera, they would see my Sony. So just make sure in preferences, you have it set for broadcast. So you could have your guest in here, never show their face, and all you're showing is this slide deck right here, and you guys are talking through the slides. I, however, would tell you a better way to do this is unembiggen this a little bit. That means make it smaller because I'm Doc and I say weird stuff. Click over here and go to your source, change it to blank. I have my flow background back here. And then using the camera, if you don't want to show your face, I would just add 2 more pictures. But in my case, I'm going to show people who want the camera thing. I'm going to set it like this. And then I'm going to make another copy for my guests and put it like that, or maybe put them here at the bottom and then have this like about yo big and then do the same thing. So you can either put the 2 pictures of yourself in your guests, and then still your slides and everything still work. You know, you're just doing your same thing, and you can have yourself in the guest. You can put your overlays here, or not your overlays, sorry, your lower third, so you know who's who. You can do things like that, and you just make 2 scenes, maybe go back from this one to that one, sort of back and forth. It's actually very, very simple. To Sal's point, if you want to do a news show, this is also super easy. Let me get rid of these 2. Is I would tell you to put your camera where your camera needs to be, right? Like this. And let me pick my correct camera. Oh, no, that was a screen share, Doc. That's why it looked odd. There you go. Put your camera where your camera needs to be. Select your, hey, look, it says camo camera. See there, Eden? You can select, let's use square, right? And biggen it like you want to. And then I'm going to go grab a overlay from overlay.uno. I believe it's already in my clipboard. No, it is not. Let me grab a different one. I'm gonna go to this website called overlays.uno. Super simple. overlays.uno. And then I'm gonna just grab a news overlay. I'm not going to fix it. I'm just going to leave it as is. But the fixing part is easy. If you know how to fill out a website, you know how to fill out a dope news overlay. They have hundreds and hundreds of overlays, including really wicked looking news overlays. And of course, just when I say that, they move them on me because they're always adding new stuff. But it is a matter of copying a URL and pasting it. It is literally that difficult. All right, let's take this one. This one's like a crypto news show. Here, let me do this. I'll just type in news in the search section. Hi, da-da-da. Here it is. I click this. I'm just copying the URL. I'm not going to do anything other than copy this URL. So if you go to overlays.uno and copy this URL in Ecamm, you're going to press this globe and you're going to paste in the URL. I tend to make it full screen, which is 1920 by 1080. And then say keep running. That's important. And then press widget overlay. And then it's going to take a second. And then bam, here, my whole entire news show done in 5 minutes or less. Like it is super much that simple. As a matter of fact, if I move that out the way, 86 this, and just put myself as a regular camera, boom, I am doing a news show with no work. So that's how hard it is, Sal. Overlays.uno. And then you just come in here, you put in your topic names, your talking points. And then so for here, here's my headline. Sal said, right? Jeff asked, um, there you go. That's it. That's that simple.
I'm going to come in as voice of God and also remind Sal and everyone
You can
watching
switch,
that
you can switch out now because we can go back to the regular picture. But this is definitely
we
how
do.
simple this is.
Yeah, overlays.uno makes it incredibly easy, and they have been a wonderful partner to us. You can also design things and build them within Ecamm. It's a little bit more complicated, but we do have a weekly news show called Ecamm Network News, ENN, that plays on all of our social channels, including here on YouTube, every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern. And Anna and Fulgens do a news show and also answer questions about how you can do your own news show. So it's another thing that you can watch for ideas. And they do it all with Ecamm's text overlays. Definitely more work because they're like really doing the most, as Marshall says, but you can certainly learn that way as well. So there are lots of options. You can design graphics just about anywhere, but between Ecamm has a scrolling ticker that you could put at the bottom. There's a bunch of functionality to really build out exactly what you want. But yeah, lots of awesome things. Oh, we're getting spammed. Paul, save us. Save us from our
I like
spam.
spam.
Awesome question coming in here, Doc, for you. Todd Middlebrooks wants to know if he should consider starting a new YouTube channel dedicated just to his podcast or keep it on his personal channel with his other regular videos. This is, I think, a question that lots of people are going to have.
A
And
lot of people have
I've
this
asked that
question.
too. Yeah.
If the information that you're going to put in your podcast is completely different from the information that's on your channel, you start a new channel. If the information that you're going to put in your podcast is identical to and enhances what you already put on your channel, just leave your channel the same.
Yeah,
no reason.
we left the flow here on the Ecamm channel. I have thought, like, it might make sense at some point for us to have like a flow specific Instagram or a flow specific Twitter, like some of the other social platforms. But I think it makes sense here because if someone is learning, comes into us through the flow, they can find all the rest of our Ecamm videos, and vice versa. If someone is coming in, and learning more about us through Ecamm, then. Although, Andy's been correcting me all show long, and he says new channel. So maybe I'm wrong in that.
Okay, so here's the rub against that, Andy. You yourself just said that you can't do trailers because you don't have enough subs.
Yeah.
Okay. You can do trailers with 0 subs. Just make it a separate video. That's the trailer. And you make that the video that plays when someone comes to your channel, right? So you can. But anyway, I have this channel that I've been struggling to get to that amount of videos so that I can do all the things that people like me can do. And so you take this brand new podcast and you put it on another channel. That another channel goes to 20,000 viewers overnight because you had a really dope podcast.
Yeah.
The cricket channel that you've been building for 6 years is still stuck at 150 subs. The content's exactly the same, but you're asking people to see 2 different things. Now, if I were going to go, my channel is Content Creation Coach. I teach people how to do this stuff. If all of a sudden I decided to switch it to Doc's whiskey collection, which I'm fully capable of doing, that will piss off Keely and Dina, not Rich, because Rich is on Team Whiskey.
Rich will jump over to your new whiskey channel with you.
Rich would be like, "Hey, I'm coming through, bringing the barbecue, right?
I'm out of here."
Like Todd, Todd's like, "Man, I came to ask Doc content stuff. Why is he talking about whiskey all day, every day? This is irritating." That's a problem. But if I wanted to start a whole brand new podcast about how content creators should be doing podcasts, then I could leave it on my same Doc Rock channel because it's the exact same content. We get pissed at ESPN when they start showing chess like it's a bomba-class sport. Right?
Ecamm is not responsible for Doc's feelings on chess.
Hey, I love chess, by the way. It's super funny. Katie is so funny you said that.
Hashtag not a sport. Hashtag is actually a sport. We could start a whole war.
Oh my God. I'm not starting that war. It's super funny that you say that because yesterday I pulled up the whole disclaimer thing because I posted it. I posted it because Anna was saying something about something and it was super funny. But I was like, we're not going to start any conspiracy theories over here. So I had the disclaimer. I actually found the right words for it and I posted it and I was made full just choke laughing so hard. It was kind of funny. But yeah. So no, if it's in the same topic, same wheelhouse and closely adjacent, like don't make yourself work by having to keep 2 channels. This is where every creator goes wrong because some of my contemporaries are from old school YouTube and they say, "Oh, you need a new channel for everything." The people that say that got teams. If you by yourself swinging the fence, don't do another channel. It's going to bifurcate you, right? You want your brain focused on one true thing. So absolutely. Sal, no, it was talking to Keely. Never mind.
He's talking to Keely,
I was talking.
Keely's
you go to discord.com or something. But he's talking to Keely. Yo, Sal, talk to Keely. Like
Keely's
when it comes
incredible.
to getting your Discord game together, yo, she's the best. And she doesn't even know we have requests for the Ecamm server coming up. I guess I should have told her that last night. when I was talking to her. But yeah, fam, we are going to be popping this thing in Discord. I want you guys to come through because these are the kind of stuff that we can discuss, right?
Yeah.
So We have the Let's Talk Tech thing, which I'm gonna be putting together. I It's just a matter of picking a date at this point.
Oh no, we're missing an
I
L. We're missing an L on exclusively. Exclusively. We got to correct that.
Hey, exclusively. It's gonna be exclusively. I see. Good Lord, do not do these things while you're doing the whiskey podcast, Doc. Hello?
Just hey, we caught it now with our friends. It's all good.
It's exclusively on yeah. So
Oh,
yeah, just pop in and
it's gonna be awesome.
we consider we can talk these things through, and sometimes I might not have the same info as some of you guys because you guys are experiencing a lot of times more from the smaller channel level. So like what
Yep.
Andy said earlier, right? We always say just make a trailer. Well, we have a trailer. So I
Yeah,
didn't I
I
didn't
didn't even think
realize
about that. Yep.
yeah, I didn't realize
Yeah.
you could, just like also with the premium thing, right? I
Mhm.
have not had premium since it was YouTube Red, the day after Red came out. And
Yeah.
so I've been there so
Same.
long, I often forget you can't background play
Yeah.
unless you're on premium. I still call it Red actually. So,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah, good.
we learn from others. It's a really good point. Like we are all in our own space and in our own bubbles, and so it is hard to remember sometimes what those steps were, how we got to where we are, or what makes a difference. So I like
All
it.
right, Eden has a great point. Let's hammer this home. I can't even run my own Twitter and Instagram, much less
Amen.
another channel.
It
There you go.
the yes, yeah, the goal is to do it consistently. I like yeah, I think we should all go on a mission to drive this home. If it's already too much, one more thing makes it way too much. So yeah, scale back and figure out what you can do to simplify and to streamline and to make it more efficient and effective for you. You don't have to be in all the places. But if you're only going to pick one or two places, pick the ones with the most impact. So if you're,
Yeah,
you know, if
yeah.
you're in the podcast space, then you should really be thinking about where the biggest audiences are so that you're not wasting your
And then you
time.
get good at it. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, it's one of those things, right? When you're a little kid and you first start, playing sports, playing soccer or whatever, one of the first things they just do, they just teach you how to dribble. They just make you run up and down dribbling the ball, and that can be soccer or basketball. You can
Yep.
pick one. And then after you got that down wired, then they're gonna teach you how to shoot. Again, that also
Yep.
works in soccer or basketball. So you're gonna stand at a little half a D, right, the top of the box, and you're gonna shoot at the net. Both works for
Yeah.
soccer and basketball. Wow.
Yeah.
And
Win.
then, so you could you're gonna keep doing it until you get better. All of this stuff will come as you get better. So literally just spend some time and do the damn thing. Like just
Yeah.
don't get twisted and all tweaked out. And man, thank you guys for coming through. This this show was really, really good to me because there is so much confusion around it. And I think it's because everybody wants there to be a like little tablet that you can stick in your face, and then all of a sudden you're perfect at everything. And it doesn't exist. There is no shortcut. There is no, like superpowers needed. You just got to do it.
You just got to do it. And you got to, again, to take it back to last week's episode, you need to just fail for like 10 or 15 episodes, fail publicly, fail brilliantly, do all the fails, and then you will learn. And you will still fail every so often, but each one of those failures is going to get you closer to the place that you want to be. So none of us start perfect. None of us end perfect. We're all failing our way through all of this. We need to start being more okay with that.
True story. True story. Okay, gang. I have to make a stream that I didn't even schedule yet. Paul, please.
Speaking of failing, Doc needs to go fail
Wait,
somewhere
because
else.
I've been busy rearranging my storage closet because I need to put stuff in it, and I swear it was supposed to take like a day. It's been 4. I've
Oh
been in
yeah.
there, but
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw this, Katie. I found cool things in my storage closet. This still works, by the way. It is a
Woo!
fully functioning. I've been listening to it. Like, what was I listening to back in 2006? It's all in here. It's quite impressive. I'm
That's
like, oh wow,
awesome. I love
I
it.
forgot about that song. So, yeah, I've been having fun doing that. So, yeah, thank you guys. Thank you everybody who comes through. Again, next week, Katie will be gone, but
But
J Rad
follow me on
Spate will
Instagram. And
be
I'll
here.
take you with me and take notes. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, you're going. Oh, that's right. You're going to be leaving Friday or Sunday.
I leave Friday. I have an overnight flight. And I'm hanging out with Adrian and the Salisbury crew, and I'm going to see Ian Anderson Gray and Andrew and Pete and Janet and everyone in the UK. I'm going to see everyone in the UK. So,
Super,
so if you
super.
want to watch me enjoy eating all of the cheese and drinking all of the
Bangers
tea
and
and
mash.
having bangers and mash and taking like crazy tourist photos and videos, you can follow me on my journey, and I'll also hopefully share some amazing tidbits from the event itself, which is all on content marketing. So.
Eden said, "IG Katie is fun to follow." Yes, it is. She
I'm
comes up with some
trying. I'm
pretty cool stuff.
trying.
And happy birthday, Dane. Let's say happy birthday to Dane.
Thanks. Yeah, I'll
All right.
pass that along to
All right.
him.
Oh yeah, fish and chips. Oh my god.
Ah, yeah.
And a nice curry. Okay, I'm done. I'm done. You guys are killing me. Peace out. Louise, play the theme music before I start crying.